So I'm going to make a video within my home, which is not something that I'm a stranger to doing. Many of you have seen it before, but I'm going to be speaking from a different vantage this time, and I'm going to be asking an elementary question. I'm just asking elementary questions here, people, and you may feel that there's an elementary answer, but I'm going to suggest that there isn't any elementary answers at all. There are some very, very deeply profound, unrealized answers as to why things are so, why we do things, and why we include certain things within our lives. So I'm going to guide you around my home and speak about what I see whilst I'm doing this. So, over here we see a display of something, and there's something that is quite pronounced and prominent with the colours of what's going on here. We have a lot of greens going on, and then of course we have these terrariums which I've created there because it just felt right for them to be there. As to why I created them, well, these are the questions I'm asking. Now, similar sort of things here. Made these, they're just sticks with moss on, and moss on the top of these plants that I've put. And then we come over here and we've got this like a honeycomb which I came upon a couple of summers ago, and I came upon it when it was covered in bees, and they were working with the larvae and the whole cycle of life and everything. And as I walked by this thing hanging from a tree every day going towards the gym, I used to monitor it, and slowly I saw the amount of bees which absolutely covered on it. They got less and less and less and less and less until there was just a few around the end here, and then they all disappeared. And so I thought, well, I'll take that. And so I broke the twig off and I brought it back and I placed it there. Why? Well, these are the questions I'm asking. Why have I decorated my whole house with these leaves? Why is it that I favour natural colours so much? Why is it that I even have this green jar here as some sort of a relic of the past and an ornament? And it's filled with water because it gives a richer three-dimensional colour, which feels more aesthetically pleasing, and it matches the green then in this vase here. And so then I have the plant waterer, which also I chose in green. And so coming over here, I have this tapestry. And then I have this natural marble and wooden ashtray here, and I have this bracket which I found, which was a beautiful find. Look at the size of that. And this here, incidentally, this is my new home for Providence, if he cares to dwell within it throughout this winter. I'm just waiting for a natural coloured carpet that I'm going to find somewhere to coat the outside with, so he has some traction with his claws to be able to climb in and out of it. Now, over here, I looked for a couple of hours on the internet trying to find the rucksack which was right for me. Now, first and foremost, I wanted something which was high quality, which is North Face, and it absolutely had to be a very natural colour, and what better colour than green. That is a superb rucksack, £120 that cost, worth every single penny. And so This then is the kitchen, and we see here that I've chosen this wooden fruit bowl, and this particular apartment is all given to natural colours and wood and everything, and the doors are natural wood, and it goes on and on. And then we enter into the bathroom, and then we've got a similar thing going on here with the greens and the colour coordinations. And even these books here, I never set out to choose these particular colours. It's just what happened. And then I'd buy vases like this, and then plants such as this, with the shroom tapestry there. And so again, we have something which is going on. There's something very particular about the way in which I live with the things that I use on a constant basis, and so everything is very readily at hand, and it's very important to me to live like that, and of course to live exceptionally clean. And so we've got everything which is very nice and sparkling clean. Don't like dirt and grime. Now, when we go into the bedroom, again, there is an influence of the Green Man. And so over on this wall here, you will see this Green Man surrounded by moss. And it's curious that some moss retains its beautiful natural colour. You wouldn't think that, would you? But that's a phenomenon that happens in nature, and it's a beautiful thing. And so therefore we can utilise this moss as some sort of decorative thing, because it retains its glory. And over here, then there is another tapestry. And outside I have trees which surround this apartment. Very important that I live among the trees. And then I've collected more of these natural things, creating small terrariums. And another tapestry there with the mushrooms, and another one here, and even on my bed, it's a natural bed, a natural wooden furniture, and a green sleeping bag cover. And so there is something which is going on. Moving into the living room, we see straight away that it's a pretty busy apartment. There's a lot of stuff going on, and every single thing in this apartment has been very, very carefully selected when I've come upon things that I've wanted to make additions to my home. And over here we have these varieties of fungi, which are super interesting, which I find very intriguing. And then there's a collection of hearts which I found along my travels, just a natural occurrence. Feline energy, very, very important, very, very revered in Egypt. And then of course mushrooms, very important for me to have mushrooms in my life. And over here then we have a couple more, and this one incidentally I found it on eBay, and this one is about 40 years old apparently, and I bought it from the village in which I grew up from. It just so happens that when I was looking on the internet, I thought I have to have that mushroom, because that is like a cep bolete or Puccini mushroom, which is a very, very well sought after mushroom and very tasty. So I can't wait to find some more of those this year. But that came from the village I grew up in. Can you imagine? It could have come from anywhere in the world. Then I have all these different varieties. This is a tibia from a deer from my favourite national park, and these things are also from my most revered national parks. And then collecting just something like this when I find it in second-hand shop, just have to have it. Then I've got my varying staffs here made of varying woods, and they are for varying jobs and varying parks. I take each individual staff to a specific location, and depending on what the energy of that arena is. And so again here we have another mushroom donning that. So spanning back now, of course, we have some more mushrooms, but let's just go down here. Of course, I've got my guitar, and then I have other collectibles, which are the barks from varying trees which I've found, more of the hoof fungi. This one in the middle is a birch burr, just some variety of a growth that grows on birch trees. Lots of trees have burrs, but that's a birch burr. Why did I collect this stone? I found this in the graveyard. It was one of the stones that adorned the driveway, and I thought, well, I just have to have that, and I've got a place for it in my apartment, and I chose it particularly because of its green hue. I don't know whether you can see that there. It's a greeny grey, and it has a very flat base which enables it to stand up. Snakes very important. I don't know why. I've needed to have snakes in the apartment, and but there's something about snakes that the wisdom, the mythology and all that sort of thing. All of these books, philosophy, psychology, predominantly. And we will notice that there is quite a theme of God speaks, and then we have the reason for God, and then we have closer to God, and then we have Yahweh, and there are many other books around here with this sort of religious theme. The Principles of Psychology by William James. So a lot of psychology, a lot of philosophy, a lot of the greats, and over here we've got Dostoevsky, and so all of these things, which is a very, very small collection of the books that I have actually owned in my life. Unfortunately wasn't able to continue to carry them all around with me on my travels. Just down here, this log. Why did I, need to have that pedestal? I just needed it when I saw it. Completely natural oak table, and with this old style varieties of chests, and then the wonderful plants and the colour coordinated plant pots. And over here again, another beautiful colour coordinated pot with an amazing three-dimensional tapestry there. And so more things over here which I've collected. This incredible heart-shaped log there, and all of the natural colours. This sofa just came to me when I moved into this apartment. I was absolutely broke and had no money for anything, and so had a few donations, and then my sister told me that she'd found this in the free listings on one particular channel, and all I had to do was go there and collect it. And so as it happens, it's the perfect couch for this room, the perfect size, perfect colour coordination. And then when I was looking around for bits and bobs to adorn my apartment, I found this in a charity shop, and it's the exact same colour coordination to the rest of the themes going on in this apartment. And over here we have another incredible three-dimensional tapestry. Then this thing here. Now this green man And the whole thing here, I came upon these pieces of wood which had fallen off a tree that had been felled, and they'd come clean off the main body of the tree, and they were lying scattered on the floor. And I saw them and I thought, well, they're such beautiful pieces of bark that I have to have them, and I will make something of them. No idea what I was going to make with them, but then when I came back after a few days, I decided that, wow, that door is the perfect place to make something. What am I going to make? And so then I decided that, well, I'll make something which brings the Green Man to life, because the Green Man obviously is very, very powerful in my life, working through me every single moment of my life. Then I'm looking on eBay because I needed to have a door handle, because the door handle was a regular aluminum handle and it just didn't look right. So within a few minutes of looking on eBay, I found this this is mahogany. This is over 100 years old, and it actually comes from Malta. Malta is a tiny island with amazing history in the Mediterranean, and it's the home of the Knights Templar. And I spent 2 incredible weeks in Malta visiting all the chapels, the churches, and the important buildings and everything. Absolutely wonderful. And it just may be that the room I was staying in, or the building I was staying in, that I actually touched this handle. It maybe was the handle of the door that which pertained to the room I was staying in. Now, some of you may think that's a stretch of the imagination, but why was it that I wanted something very, very befitting? And I found a wooden antique knob from Malta. Malta is an incredible place, people, and there's an enormous amount of history and spirituality to that place. And if any of you are European and you know anything about travel, then you'll know a little bit about Malta, hopefully. And if you don't, then I'll suggest that you go there, because it is really out of this world. Then I was looking for other bits and bobs, and I came upon this, and I thought, well, I just have to have that. That was £7. Little pixie sitting on a mushroom. Well, would you credit it? So I thought, well, that will be perfect there. This cost me £20, so absolutely superb. And at the same time, as I was looking around for those sort of things, I came upon this letterbox, and I just had to have it. Of course, it's an antique, it's solid brass, it's a work of art. It once adorned a beautiful, prestigious house, and so I thought, well, I have just got to have that at any cost. That cost me £40, just for whatever it is. I thought, well, I'll get the letterbox first, and then I'll get the house. And so maybe the house will come later. But if nothing else comes of it, then this is a portal for letters to come to me from the cosmos, ladies and gentlemen. And so again, some of you may think that my thoughts are out there with the fairies, but we're all out there with the fairies. It's just that 99.9% of us have no idea that we're out there with the fairies. And so this green man adorning my apartment, it's like he has become resident. For sure, the green man is resident in my life. resident in all facets of my life. And as to why this came about, these are the questions I'm asking. Why did I adorn my house with leaves? Why have I had to have these three-dimensional, wonderful, mystical passages into another dimension within my home? Can you imagine this small room without these extra dimensions? It would be pretty, restrictive, wouldn't it? But all of a sudden now you come in here and you don't feel constrained because you feel like you're so outdoors, you're so in nature, and you've got this other beautiful display which is like a mural itself straight out of my window. And so, people, let me turn the camera around now. The questions I'm asking is, why did I do all this? And then you may say, well, because you like that sort of stuff, Aaron, simple, period. And I'll go, I think you're being very limited in your thoughts, to be fair. Because we don't do anything just because. And if you said to me that, well, you pick these things up because you like them, and that's enough for you, that isn't enough for me. Just because I like them, what does that mean? Because I like, why do I like? Why do I like these things? Why do I why have I created this, which is probably the only one on the whole planet? How many other people have gone to a similar sort of length to bring the natural world into their home? And how many people have been captivated by the Green Man? And how many people feel so passionate about mushrooms that they just have to have these works of art? And so there's a whole bunch of questions that we need to keep asking ourselves, and I'm asking them all the time, and the questions are falling on deaf ears, because nobody seems to have any inclination or any level of inquiry. They've never even thought about these things. They don't think they're interesting remotely. They just go about their automated lives. But what I'm saying here is, people, just stop for a minute with your automaton nonsense and just ask yourself, like I've been saying, what resident spirits dwell within you? Why do you do all the things you do? Why do you live in a house like you do? What sort of a house do you live in? What sort of decoration does it have? What furnishings? What trinkets do have you collected which actually means something to you? How many of you live in showroom houses whereby you just buy stuff because you've seen a picture of it on telly and you think that looks cool, when there's no character, there's no charisma, anything like that? How many of you live in pretty disorderly houses which is just, you've put stuff here and there and there's no organisation, you've been meaning to shuffle it around this and you've never got round to it, your piles of books and your newspapers, magazines, they just build up and it is what it is. But again, that's much more of an interesting home than these clinical places, isn't it? And so I went into this gentleman's apartment down below me one day. And he is absolutely a dead automaton. And I walked into his apartment. He has a dull brown carpet. His walls are just the same as these walls with the original off-white, which were painted 30 years ago when these buildings were built. He has a nasty brown Commodore Garden couch, and he has a cheap shit flat screen TV on the fireplace, and one small horrible coffee table. That's it. That's why he leaves his apartment at every given opportunity, because he'll go insane within those walls. And he's always saying, oh, I've got to get out, I'm bored. Well, I can very understand why you're bored looking at that apartment. But what I can't understand is why your spirit is bored. Why all of your spirits are dead, or you don't have spirits. You see, these questions I'm asking people, it really, really is important, because that man downstairs doesn't have, to my knowledge, any spirits at all. Nothing that drives him to do anything, to say anything, to create anything, nothing at all. He is dead, he is dull, he goes to sit on the local train station platform just to watch trains go by. Well, 100 years ago that was interesting. Today, he's not interested in the slightest. He will go and he'll sit on the bus and he'll drive around for 1 whole hour on the bus route, and he will just look out the window and then he'll get off at the same stop, and at least he's been out the house. That's his life. Why? Why is this? There's so much difference, people. These are the questions that I'm asking. And I'm thinking that it's got a whole lot to do with resident spirits. And so I'm going to be speaking about resident spirits a whole lot more in the next video. I'm going to finish this video now because I can't see what I'm recording. I don't know whether I'm central in the frame or what's going on, and my arm's aching. So I'm going to finish this off now and then continue to speak about why I made this video and the questions that I'm often incessantly posing you to no avail. I'm asking you why. Why don't you feel the urge to comment? You watch the videos. Some of you watch all of the videos. Every day you're watching the videos, and yet I can't get a squeak out of you about your life. Are you an automaton like this old geezer downstairs? Is that what's going on with you? Do you have any flair? Do you have any spirits that have ever done anything remotely interesting in your life? These are the things I'm trying to pry out of you.